right? If more money comes in, more money goes out. That's the intent.
My name is Glen and I'd like to start off with a quick statement. The first thing I want to do is be overly critical, and it's going to be brash, and it's going to be rude, and it's going to be harsh, but I don't think it was.
Not a question.
It will be a question.
Okay.
It will be a question, but I want to preface it with a little bit of history, or a little bit of just a question to the retirees as well. The statement I want to make is I'm overly critical about how you arrived at federal bankruptcy proceedings in Chapter 11 today. It was done kind of secretively, and this is a call to the retirees to fight it. I think it can be fought. I think they can stop these proceedings. Right now, all payments made out from the retirement fund to any of their creditors, you are the creditors now, have been halted. That's the first thing that happens under Chapter 11. Somebody else can check. They verified it with me today. They do have a corporation they formed over the last week to try and cover 2 months. That's to try and cover 2 months. And they tried to move money to that fund. My call is just to ask you retirees to look more closely into that and to halt it. My mom stated something earlier tonight. She said prior to the filing of the bankruptcy, they had 2 years, you all had 2 years of retirement payments expected. It's short, but at least it's 2 years, yeah, and you can really, they talked about dancing in court with the Committee of Creditors in federal court. They've been dancing for 3 years in Superior Court. 2 months? No, not going to happen. We all know that. So do what you can to stop the federal proceedings can it be stopped? And why did you, as trustees that should be concerned with the retirees' pension, decide to, within about a week's time, and you could have been planning it for months, decide to level them with this bankruptcy proceeding, which does, no matter what anybody says here today, halts payments to all creditors. You are the creditors that they've halted payments to. Whether they tell you that or not, they've sidestepped it, they've circumvented it, they've done whatever they say they've done, but the truth is in Chapter 11, payments to the creditors are halted as of today. So payments to you as retirees have been halted today in federal court. They have been stopped. There's a contingency plan with a company they created, a subsidiary, which is kind of an oddity. It's almost like shifting money before you file bankruptcy, so it's a little questionable on both sides, local and federal. Okay. But my question, Carolyn, why do you gotta do that, Carolyn? I've been very,
My apologies. This is your meeting, and if the retirees want to continue to hear, I'll allow them.
Thank you guys so much. My concern is my mom, my brother, my sister, everybody that works for the government. I just want to ask you guys to work as a team, to come together and to stop the federal Chapter 11 bankruptcy in federal court until it's spelled out more clearly to you. You shouldn't be given a notice 3 hours ago to come here today to talk about something that happened. You should have been given a notice in the paper saying that we are going to file bankruptcy, not that we filed bankruptcy. This meeting should have said, we intend to file bankruptcy. We intend to create a corporation. That's what this meeting should be about. What the intentions are on your behalf, not what they have done in secret behind closed doors without consulting you. They can say that, oh, there's going to be a committee of creditors that they're going to deal with going forward in federal court. No, nonsense. They should have talked to you in advance. There's no reason for them not talking to you in advance. I apologize for raising my voice. I apologize for taking too much time. But you guys can still stop it. Article 3, Section 20, subsection A of the Constitution guarantees that your pensions cannot be cut, cannot be reduced, cannot be diminished, and can't be impaired. Today, they impaired your pensions, whether you believe it or not. They did, because federal bankruptcy court proceedings halt all payments to creditors. That's, no matter how they can say, yeah, we created a corporation, yeah, the corporation will continue 2 months worth of payments. That's subject to, I can file and say that's bull. You shouldn't have been able to create a private corporation from a public entity. Who does that? I mean, if they're allowed to do that, CEC can do it, anybody can do it. The governor's office can do it. You don't want that happening with your tax dollars. Where does the interest that's made from the money that's just been turned over to this private corporation go? Where does, how do they get compensated? You know, all these different questions. So there's too many things. What I'm asking is I'm appealing to the retirees to fight the federal bankruptcy court proceedings unless they give you adequate explanations before moving forward with such a critical decision. The fact that a law firm was hired at $1,000 per hour, the federal court will decide. The federal court will decide how much they pay. But the agreement I was told today was about $1,000 an hour.
No, you were not.
I was told that today, Carolyn. But let me finish. What I'm trying to say is the fact that it's questionable and the fact that it's in question is the point. Come before the retirees, call them out and talk to them about what you plan on doing before doing it.
Can we talk in a little calmer voice?
Yes.
Because everyone is so upset.
Yes.
Everyone is worried about their pensions.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Sorry, Carolyn. I apologize for speaking up.
I know. So don't tell us not to be upset.
No, she's right. I shouldn't scream and I shouldn't yell.
I'm not saying don't be upset.
Aren't you gonna be upset?
We're here to
These
answer
things happen to you?
Yes, we're here to answer questions.
Please, let's hear what's the reality.
I guess my main concern, I'll calm it down. Yeah, I'll calm it down and I'll be
Just a
quiet.
minute. Can we address the situation first, please?
I'll try and address the situation first.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she doesn't have the right to tell us not to be upset. Aren't you gonna be upset if it's like this happening to you? Right, so she has no right to tell us. We are invited to attend the meeting, and we can say what we want to say, and what we believe we want to say, and what we believe that is our right. Just like him.
Just calmer, in a calmer voice, and ask any questions.
Just be quiet right there. You know, you're not.
I'll step out because
you can go out there.
I'm sorry if I've offended you.
You just go out there.
I apologize for raising my voice. I think my main concern is I'm just asking the retirees to maybe ask the trustees and beg the board to halt the federal court proceedings or reverse them while they discuss all these intricacies of these proceedings so that you guys are all fully aware. It just doesn't make sense for it to happen within a span of 1 week. That's all. I hope it's a concern to all of you.
If I could address your questions, and there were a number of them, and they're important questions. First, we're not being paid $1,000 an hour. I just want to make that very, very clear. I think maybe what you heard in the meeting was that my firm, in another context, charges up to $1,000 an hour more. Okay. But we're not charging that here.
So how much more?
That's a very good question. We are charging. I'm trying to tell you. We're charging $475 an hour, and any amount that we charge will be put before the bankruptcy court for the bankruptcy court's approval. We don't get paid a dime unless the court says that what we've done added value. And if I could address your question,
just so I don't look like a fool, Ala Foods, I went to the press conference today. They mentioned $1,000 an hour. So I don't want to seem like I lied to anybody. I was told that today.
I think you misrepresented because
I recorded it.
That they usually charge $1,000 an hour. However, we were able to negotiate $475, which we're waiting for court approval.
I recorded it, but okay.
You asked the question about the subsidiary, and to make very clear, the subsidiary was formed only for the purpose of paying full benefits for the first 2 months of the case. It's an insurance policy. At the same time, if you look at the docket, the first motion that should have been filed, and maybe it was the second, depending on which one the clerk put in the machine first, is the motion requesting authority from the bankruptcy court to pay you within the case for the first 2 months. If we get that order entered on day one, that subsidiary goes away. All of that money comes right back to the fund. But your question was, could someone sue and try to stop that subsidiary from paying you your benefits? Well, sure. People can take spurious positions, they can file frivolous litigation. But I can tell you, if someone sues to try to prevent that subsidiary from paying you your full benefits for the first 2 months of the case, we're coming out fighting. That is critically important to us that you get those payments. So yeah, someone could sue, and yes, we will fight that. We're fighting to get the benefits paid for the first 2 months. That's very, very important. And we're also looking to get creditor input to talk about what happens after the first 2 months of the case, what amount will be paid going forward, and on what terms. So, thank you for the question. I think it's
And the big one, the rush?
important.
And the big one, the rush? Why the rush?
I'll turn it to where we do the work. I don't make the decision.
My name is Barbara Torres, and I'm a retiree for those board of